In 1990, Beverly McGowan was in search of a roommate to share her Pompano Beach condo. A woman soon contacted Beverly, who met all of the requirements and was very likable. The woman, named Alice, hailed from London, drove a nice car, and appeared to be very well-to-do. Shortly after moving in together, the women found a shared interest, numerology, and Alice offered to create a chart for Beverly. Numerology charts are usually created using a person's birth name and date and can identify significant numbers and patterns that might occur during the person's lifetime. To create the chart, Alice gathered the necessary information from Beverly and also asked for other information, including her social security number, bank account numbers, passport number, and information from her birth certificate. Once she'd completed the chart, Alice told Beverly she would eventually find true romance and accumulate great wealth. Also, that a man and woman close to her would wrong her. On July 19th, friends and family members of Beverly received letters from her notifying them she had sold all her belongings and was leaving the area to start a new life. Her mortgage company received a telegram telling them to foreclose on her condo and get rid of her belongings. It appeared Beverly had made a sudden and abrupt decision, but that's not the impression her brother and sister had when they visited her condo. The siblings found Beverly's car was gone and her phone disconnected, but a nightgown was laying on her unmade bed, and the only items missing were her birth certificate, passport, address book, and her 2 cats. When they contacted her employer, they said she'd not been at work since the 17th of July and had not mentioned taking a trip or requesting any time off. They contacted police to report Beverly missing. Later that day, 100 miles away, 2 fishermen came upon the remains of a female body. Her throat had been cut and her hands removed, along with her head, and a tattoo on her abdomen had been cut away, her killer attempting to make it difficult to identify her. Police used dental records, however, and determined it was the body of Beverly McGowan. Police immediately started to investigate and wanted to speak to the roommate. Alice had been seen using Beverly's credit cards after the 17th of July, shopping at the Aventura Mall, and buying a plane ticket to travel to England under the name Sylvia Ann Hodgkinson. Once there, a man used a credit card to pay for a rental car from the Heathrow Airport. That is the last time Beverly's credit card was used. A few weeks later, Sylvia Ann Hodgkinson flew from London to Los Angeles and rented a car under the name Charlotte Cohen. In May of 1991, a woman was pulled over in Miami for driving an overdue rental car. The car had a stolen license plate on it as well. The driver had identification for both Charlotte Cohen and Sylvia Ann Hodgkinson, but the police eventually let the woman go, and that is the last lead Beverly's investigators had for several years. Using what they knew about Alice and her aliases, detectives found Charlotte Cohen and were able to learn a lot more about the woman who called herself Alice, who was only pretending to be a woman of means. Elaine Parent is her real name, and she made a habit out of posing as someone of means, who was also a numerology expert, who stole her victims' identities by offering them numerology charts that required much more information than should be necessary. Police knew they had the right person, and now they had her name. They used the media to notify the public. Knowing her identity didn't help locate Elaine Parent, however. Able to vastly change her appearance and use any identity she has cleverly managed to steal, she became known as the Chameleon Killer, and it seemed Beverly's killer would remain free to create more victims and taunt investigators who were hopelessly lost. In 1992, Parent successfully sued the state of Florida in a slip and fall accident using yet another alias. And in 1998, she sent a photograph of a painting of herself to the police, and on the back was typed, "Best wishes, your chameleon." It wasn't until 2002 that police finally caught up to the Chameleon Killer, by running down every tip that came their way. On April 6, 2002, detectives knocked on her door and asked her to accompany them to the station for questioning. She asked if she could get dressed first, which was allowed, but Elaine Parent would never make it to the police station. She used a .357 Magnum to shoot herself in the chest while officers waited for her outside. It is not known how many women have lost their identity to Elaine Parent, nor how many women have lost their lives. The only solace to be gained is knowing this monster will not be able to harm any more families. Thank you for listening to another story in my Spooky Florida series. Like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos.